Hey guys, what's up? It's Shrieking Freak. Get ready to scream because we're playing Tiny Bunny, which doesn't sound very ominous, uh, but this music doesn't make me feel great. Actually, this is giving me the heebie-jeebies for some reason, and I don't know. But anyway, this is a visual novel style game, and I fucking love those. So, without further ado, new game! Let's play. Oh, hello. Good start. That looks like my actual outside. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. It a fox! Was that there the whole time? 'Cause I didn't look. Hey! Put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Said literally no mom ever. Hide? What if I have a choice here? Is there other stuff I can click on? What does this button do? I'm so confused, first of all. I know that I have to make choices in this game, and that my choices actually affect, like, the outcome. So, but the only thing I possibly see as an outcome, or an option right now, is this. So I shall hide my book. I didn't protest, and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. That's some good shit, though. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Yeah, it's a bit advanced for a 12-year-old. Well, Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. What the fuck does that mean? I was gonna say, Mom, blink. Mom did blink. It's fine. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. Okay, shit. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. Looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. Love that show. Wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Bro, we don't talk about the bottom of the ocean. Or how cold the Black Forest is at night. We don't talk about that either. The spoon fell out of my hand. Actually, it looks like you just kind of dropped it. But okay. Mom showered me with the cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. Oh, my name is Anton. Great. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. I mean, you could just flick it further and be like, "Oh, Mom, it slipped out of my hand. Again." What is this? Carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Hey, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. I hope not that little, because who's giving a 8-year-old a knife? It's that vine. Show me what you have. A knife. No! She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. Mom's a badass, everybody. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Yep, that's the trademark of parenthood, man. Do as I say, not as I do. Hello? Should I remind her about it? Hell yeah. No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. Well, maybe it'll be nice. Maybe she'll, like, fondly remember her childhood, bro. You don't know. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? With the sounds coming from the attic. What's coming from the attic, Anton? Hello? Why did the music stop? You don't do that to me. Or the thick forest. Oh, hi, Grandma. Imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Oya sleeps nowadays. Sorry, I don't know why I needed to process that. You can keep a bed for a long time, I guess. I don't know why that took a minute. And saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taika is a special place, little girl. Okay. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out. A place? I'm very confused. Trying to discern what kind of beast you are. Yeah, I'm a human that's pretty beastly, right? If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. Great. And that would be it. Very comforting to hear at night, Grandma. Thank you. Love it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody. Never yelled. Never swore. Those were the times with the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Sounds like your parents need a divorce, bro. My parents used to love each other back then. Sounds like they need a divorce. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. Like she was already dead, or like she was planning it herself. Okay, so she was planning it herself. She had already bought a casket. She called it her cute funeral box. Good for Grandma, you know? It waited for its time in the closet. Patiently. You know what, though? That's totally fine for me. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. Because realistically, we're all gonna die. So, like, if you want something specific for a way you're going to be remembered after you die, Like, just do it. Like, that's not weird to me. Like, if she wanted this specific casket, good for her for going to get it. I mean, it's weird that she kept it in her closet for funsies, but like, you know, could have. I mean, it could have been worse. She could have like sold her bed and put it there and was like, "Yep, I'll just sleep. It's fine." It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material. Why would you say it like that? There's a color for that. It's called red. Like burgundy, maroon. Like, there's many things you could have said other than meat-colored. Pink, even, if you will. Salmon. Why do you gotta say it like that? I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. Yeah, that happens. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Okay. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful. Sorry, I can't read that. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I thought that was trying to tell me that they were dead but watching, so that was confusing for a second. I know English. I crawled out from under the table. How long have you been under the table, first of all? Because that was more than 10 seconds. Oya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. Great. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There was a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Hello? Yeah, it's a fox, I said. Well, yeah, look. It's a fox. Right there. Where? Right there! It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. Can't say I've ever had that happen to me. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle. No, I'm looking right at it, and it's a fox. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. Bruh, if I said that to my mom, she's gonna get slapped. Just kidding, my mom would never hit me, but like, there would be some words. I don't see anything. Hurry up. There's not much left. There it is. It still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. 'Cause I'm 12 and you're like 6, so... It does. Stop it. These kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. 'Cause maybe he left. I don't know. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up on the glass. I'm gonna take your word for it, because I don't know what nettle leaves look like. Holy crap, I don't know why that scared me. Whew, Dad, how are you? Jeez. Wait a minute. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. What were they measured in? I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. It's not that impressive. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off. It stings." Yeah, beard burn is real, bro. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Get a divorce, does Dad blink? Okay, God. Jeez. Oya always covered her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply. For the sake of our family. Dad, you want to tell me about something? Dad, I'm picking your nose. Dad. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. It's not that bad. Diva. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Well, no, you're still the same family, you just... things get complicated. Which sounds like things are complicated anyway. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. Congrats. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? Way to deflect, Dad. I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Yeah, I bet you the fox took them. Right. Maybe you did. Maybe not. Or maybe Mom took them. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still... Karina, stop. Please. Yeah, that's uncalled for, lady. He's just looking for his... I lose my car keys all the time. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. So you did move them. Well, thank you very much. Oh my god, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl. There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Olia sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had bye-bye in your closet, and what is that? But I saw it. Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Or maybe there's an owl in her window. Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Oh my god. Mom gave Dad a strict look. That's not strict, that's murder. That's death. Incoming. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects. By gluing them back together, for example. Bro, have you heard of duct tape? But how do you fix a relationship? Bro, have you heard of counseling? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances out the window. Now's where you get up and dump your plate into a bin. And then you're like, look, I finished. Hey, what's up? Well, yeah, I had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up in a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped her to take her mind off all the troubles we'd had with the move and our parents. Oh my god, hello. And then Olia said that she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. Yeah, I'd fucking cry about that too. She became obsessed with it. I don't know about that. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words. I had to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside these holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat, black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? Maybe you need therapy. The damn school can burn for all like it. You need therapy. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. That doesn't sound like you want to go there at all. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider. Some sort of a monster. You got an imagination on you, bro. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. It's a cat, and what I'm assuming to be Freddie Mercury. Wait. Freddie Mercury? Or is that a baseball? That's a dinosaur. I think. That's a castle. It's a plane. And that's a dude. And that's weird. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine my mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Bro, I don't think your mom is that mean. Or Anton is not around. Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. Not if you say any of this. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? Bro. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little. And now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. My mom. I mean, not happily. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with the TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet, cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts, too. I hear a piano. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? What if I didn't? What if I just went to bed? No, I changed my mind. Close it. No, I changed my... What is happening? What are you guys doing? Someone was dancing in the field. I don't know that they're dancing. It looks like a battle. I don't know if y'all have seen Pokemon, but stuff is happening. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Oh yeah, because it looks like it's a wolf. And a bear. That's a bird of some kind. I don't know, that's a fox. Where did it go? That one over there. And that's, I don't know what that is. We'll just bypass that. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind. These were clearly not wolves. Well, no, one of them is somewhere in there. I don't remember which one. This one. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Really? Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Snow, thank you. You did not. Oh no. Oh. Hard pass. Dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. Oh, I hate it. Ugh. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. No, no, abort, abort. No, underneath. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. It's in my house now. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. Lock the door. Lock the door. They saw me. Lock the door. The freezing torrent of fear washed over me. Lock the door. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guests move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. Why is your front door not locked? I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll, ants running up and down the legs of the chairs that held my— What? What kind of funeral home? I imagine those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. This child is a sociopath, first of all. Don't do this to me. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside this eye. She'd be able to see her grandchildren. Have I mentioned? No. I was chanting the spell she taught me. Your grandma's a witch? And now lying under the blanket, listening to the squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of the color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from Devil's Lair to feast and always leap alone. God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. Alright. Cautiously peeked out from under the blanket. Saw the curtains waving around like a hangman. You're so morbid. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I'm getting the feeling that Grandma was Dad's mom and there's some kind of witchcraft in the woods. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone. A witchcraft in the woods! Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them and drilled the door with my eyes. So flimsy and weak before the might of the darkness. And then... Oh, don't. No! The doorknob twitched slightly. Turn halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. 'Cause they have paws. Don't do it to me. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. I'm sorry. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blank wire foot, and the door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. I don't want to see. The door was wide open. The darkness right in the corner of another doorway. Tony? Tony. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me. I don't know why I'm leaning back. I'm just flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. Great. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Gotta say, this child is very, I'm strawberry shortcake. Very, like, prophetic. Tony. Yeah, just do it. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. Me too. Before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? Oh, Jesus Christ. My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Yeah, me too. Well, yeah, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony. Please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a moment ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch a video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. Couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Don't die for fucking shit, Am I dead? How dare you? I fucking trusted you. I trusted you. Hi, is this Groundhog Day? Oh, okay, oh my god. I had a moment, sorry, Jesus Christ. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. Bing bong. You could be visiting us here, in the middle of nowhere. We don't know anyone around here. Well, they're very insistent. Yeah. Felt extremely unsettled from just a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olia always hides. That's a terrible place. Tony, come here. Felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but I still dragged them towards the hallway. Hi, how are you? A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. You got a good nose, dude. Have you ever considered you're the werewolf? My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? Policeman held out a photograph to me. Also, why was my mom explaining that, and not asked the officer in question. It was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. Yeah, thank you, I can see it. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Where's my mouse? There it is. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window? That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Mom! The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. You don't believe me. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I hadn't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter that misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Bruh, if you gonna move from a city to the middle of nowhere, it's a big difference. Okay, 'cause I did that one summer. Weirdest time of my life. I moved from the city to a resort that I was working at. I was living in there. And I went from waking up to ambulances on the highway to birds pecking at my window. It's a whole other level. Plus, then there's like, you know, the 24-hour stuff. And no longer you don't have that anymore. Instead of 24-hour service, you gotta drive like 30-40 minutes to get a decent grocery store. It's a lot different. Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite little boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Yeah, I agree. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. I hate you. Please leave. He's a witty boy around your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Don't call them goggles. He's already self-conscious. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Well, maybe you should get your nephew to help you find this boy. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Oh, he doesn't live here. Okay. Well, smart kid. Wanted to help other people. Just like me. See? I felt uncomfortable. As if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. Weird? You know what? Little boys like you should stay home. Steer away from trouble. Times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? How do you know his name? 6th. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, and I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. Yeah, let's make a 12-year-old my informant. Great. Policemen were gone, along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone. There. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do? And forget about me eventually. Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked at the window, at the road. The police, drove off toward the village. Why don't we live closer to the village? Why don't we live in the village? The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty Hello? It got it. Wait, hold on. You. Oh, I might have broken the game. Ah! Oh. I don't know why I screamed. I'm sorry. I was. Who? Bye bye. Oh, okay, so it's great. So you're. Okay. Nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten. Yeah, that sounds accurate. Okay. Black Kitty. Great. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. So, Scooby-Doo? They became local celebrities. I can't read, oh my god. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Because you're 12. And no. Maybe I'll find that lost boy. Maybe you'll go missing. Then I'll get a reward. Well, yeah, we'll be so happy. I have weird... Why would your sister care? Can I be honest? Why would your sister give a shit? And not only Olia. Mom and Dad, too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a little while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olia a Tamagotchi. Bro, Tamagotchis were the shit. And getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time my parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad has lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Combinatia. In the early 90s. Great. I had little to no idea what the accountant's job like. Account money, I think? Well. Neighbors used to envy us, but nowadays Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Oya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. What a sweetheart. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I mean, you're not, you know. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. You're an idiot. I'm going outside. Ah, yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse, echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. Sounds like waterboarding, actually. It meant that the argument was over, and Mom had the last word. As mothers often do. My butt is asleep. What's this button? Hello? Are you gonna jump scare me again? This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black, as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she caught herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Could hang the horseshoe on the other side. Can I just like click on everything? Family relic. It gifted it to me. Olia was next. Toy belonged to her. Should I show her something? A fairy tale, maybe in the future. Now my little sister's a bit too old for it. But yeah, great. Should I put it in a jacket? Can I open drawers? I'm gonna open this. Harry Potter, hello. Dark stuffy closet. I'll take the axe and then I will go outside. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself. Well, if you can see it, don't stick your face that close to it. Hello. And Oya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babaya is living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there's nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. Need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Great. Okay, I'm gonna go to the kitchen. What's in the kitchen? I'm gonna touch the calendar. I'm gonna watch my favorite form of entertainment. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's. One day closer. Your grandma's funeral is on New Year's. Oh. That's unfortunate. Since the time I started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky description from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can carry, bring the 8th from a fairy. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. Okay. Hey, Mom, how are you? It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. But that's a terrible way to phrase it. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. Pictures dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Oh, you're killing me here. So, have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please, go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olia's room. It's a psych! What's in the fridge? What's in the freezer? I hate that. I thought that was a human head. I'm gonna just close that. I'm gonna take some butter. Take the lemon. What are those eye drops? Why is there drugs in your fridge? Alright. Time to bail. Mom heard nothing. She doesn't know. I opened the gate to the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became high as my knees. Yeah, that's when I would bail. Like, is that a hello? Sorry, I just thought I saw something real. Ow, my foot! Then I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around holding it. They were not. I saw it. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me. And a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other, while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead, cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? I'm sorry, the who? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. What are you talking about? And somewhere, far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. What are you even talking about? I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. That's a mitten! Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Probably that one. It's probably that one. Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I'm gonna not touch it. Tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. Hey, what if I don't get it? It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? The senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of a Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was always so anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees. Well, we're not going in the trees, I'll tell you what. Hiding. Vova. Knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still. So I don't see what you're talking about. Where? Where? Hello? That looks like an arm. And a leg. I don't like it. What are you talking about? Where? Who? Where? Naturally. What are you talking about? Where? It's blackness. What are you talking about? There's no one there. Just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped his wings loudly. Thank you, I heard it. Why did that scare me? I don't know. Shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. Yeah, we got walking trees now. Looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. Yeah, it's probably behind another tree. So it was my imagination after all. You don't know that! Silence reigned for a painfully long time. No. Hello? Footprint. My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. I want the mitten, but I also want to bail. What if I bail? I can call the dude, tell him, see, this is I'm running. Nope. No, see, okay, no, I'm not running. Here's the thing. If I touch it, I'm tampering evidence, okay? So, gotta call Mr. Man Dude and be like, yo, found a mitten. Check it out. Might be nothing. Might be something. You don't know. Lumps of snow fell from the branch that reminded me of the sound soil makes when you throw it into the pit. This kid is so sad. I immediately felt dizzy as if I was balancing at a precipice. I slowly backed away from my finding. I felt like the moment I touched it, a trap would spring, and the mouse would get caught. Someone stamped on the ice behind me, glowing by. My inner voice whispered, "Save yourself. Run." My nerves got the better of me. I ran, burying my head in my shoulders. I told you, abort mission. We outie. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew from my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. They'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more. Probably voice of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry. Run. Don't look back. I felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I'd gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boot slipped out of the hole and my soles were on hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump from there and ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks. As if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. Close the door! Oh, God. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? You know, at least you're not at me about the fact that I left and you told me not to do that either. I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, a mere 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you two? Oh, here we go. I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. And that's my problem? Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? I'm sorry. There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant. She covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door just like in my nightmare. Oh, I hate it. Mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fears. Oh, Jesus Christ, it was just dogs. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me! Like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? A smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olia? Oh, I'm glad you care about me, Mom. Thank you. Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. I'm not on board with that. Mom, look. They're alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. That's rude. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy who cried wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. My pills? Golden-colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell into my palm. That's good. I'll have 12, thanks. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you... Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night. And you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Boba's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Did you just give me... You can do it when you try... What? Do what? Do what? Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, I was just thinking. About what, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes. So she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Yeah, well, no, in the forest, it could be. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. I ran for my life. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt there. Is this Fran-Bow? Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. Melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror. Like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. No, that's hardcore Freddie Mercury. Don't lie to me. Jafar and Iago's voices died down. Jafar, Janir. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. The simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. No, that wasn't a drawing. That's actually a dinosaur. Sat on the bed. Great. Get out of here. And only then I noticed. Wait, hi, was she there before? There was someone behind the curtains. It's your sister. It's your sister. It's your sister. It's very clearly a little girl right there. Olya? Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. Enveloped softly by the curtains as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtain. Ba-dum, ba-dum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second I wanted to return to the bed just to lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad used to say she was shining with happiness. But I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light-woven child. Why did the police come? Did you do something? Thanks. No, of course not. It's because of the owl, isn't it? I showed her a worried smile and rubbed her head. A boy got lost in the woods. Oh. You must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. Bro, your sister says some real smart shit. The police aren't scared of anything. They've already scouted the forest. I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away from possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She asked in a hushed voice, while piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense! An owl wouldn't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No. More like in that spooky tape our parents hid from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom wouldn't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in a tower. Can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons. And Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children, so we could go and play together like we used to. Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over with some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, Olya. Then draw me a dino. Oh yeah, please. Draw it, draw it. Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Oya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? Hi, is that a rabbit? Down there? Yeah, right there. Y'all see that? I hurried to prevent Olia from crying. Has that been there the whole time? Or is that like on her shirt or something? Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hands on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo! You'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. That's not a good promise to make right now, dude. Your mom drugged you. And then I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops! Well, close enough. Leia rubbed her eyes with her sleeve of her pajamas. Does her pajamas have a bunny on them? And a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk. But it's condensed milk, isn't that like in a can? Or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Leia disappeared into the doorway. I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Turn on. I don't wanna. Open the curtains. Open the curtains. They're not open. They're not open, though. Piggy bank. Saving money for a real puppy. Great. Is that a sewing machine? What does your little sister have? Is that a Teletubby? Bro. Slinky. I'm just clicking on everything. Rubik's Cube. You know, they'd be real easy to solve in black and white because be like 90% the same shade. Hello? Old Photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking on the button in the front panel. That one right there? Hello? Tube. Let's watch some Tube. Almost reached out. And Norris got what? I don't like that. Now we're in the ring. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. I know that's human speech. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. Only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Willie asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Search, set. Well, I gotta. I'm sorry. Also, I'm fairly certain I had that exact VCR. I hate the noise that just had. What is this? Picture finally cleared up. The moment I rejoiced at finding the weird signal again, the TV started coughing. He was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was pitch black night at the cemetery. In that fateful, dark time, little Senya met her fate, the face of the monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze, and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. I'm also very tense right now. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. Oh, great. Good. Came a hand across the snow. Something black spilled over it. Like a ragged piece of cloth was thrown all over the place. That's a hoof. I don't like that. What is that? I didn't want to think whether Sanya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. But the voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Jeez, fucking Christ. Here's what tomorrow the old woman that lives in the nearby crypt had to say. Great. Close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman weary from life and alcohol abuse. How do you know that? Rattled on the screen. Yes, such a fearsome beast it is. Worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular Wait, you don't want to use that afterwards. I hate you. And the stink. It's like... The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. Do you mean censored? I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, yes, right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with its eyes. Right in the middle of the day. It was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. You know, they say this demon lays its eyes on you. It'll snatch you, put you into his bag, and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the devil's wench. And it's definitely true. Rip. Fucking rip. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The forest master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it all away, decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it in the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called the Forest's Master for nothing. All of the animals obey it, be they hairy or feathery. They're all precursors for its appearance. So, a pack of dogs, you mean? If you hear howls in the distance, then it most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep, and birds watching you from trees, you'd better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window, then soon, hey, soon, what? Am I stuck in a loop? I hated that. Yeah. I was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. VCR ejected with for a moment. What? It's saliva, but it was just okay. Jeez. It's fine. Everything's fine. What are you panicking for? Except... Whoops! I recorded it over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It's bad enough that I ruined Olia's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. Can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaky floorboards. Olia appeared in the doorway. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought a tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. No? I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do! Turn it on already. Mom will come watch her Brazilian drama soon. What the hell is Mom doing? Okay, whatever. Come on, think, fake detective. You know, I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe we should watch Little Mermaid instead. I've already seen it so many times. And you promised me. She's so stubborn. I know, let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first. Deal? Oya frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest. If you want it so much, can you open the milk? It's already open. Oh, well, I get. Okay, sorry. I'm dumb, not you. Can you open the milk can? I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped up before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa I realized the can was already open. Oya had tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush towards the TV, but my little sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone, "Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha! As the remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan." I couldn't even open my mouth, and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She'll play it, and then black crosses and unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps in the snow, and the insane devil's wench. I'd better tell the truth. Well, yeah, stop. I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad have broken off all those plastic pins with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting this out-of-this-world narrator. But I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head, heavy as a leaden ball, now rested in my hands. Oya smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over her bread. And when the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to Neverland, like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. And now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. What is happening? My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees. The narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines, like a winged carnivore would track its prey. I felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tony, shut the curtains. I thought they were already shut. Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Yeet. I did my best not to look outside toward the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew me closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows and branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and... I swiftly grabbed Olia's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. You don't know that. Can I go to bed now? Jeez. Okay. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, it lasted longer than my little sister. Olia's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring slightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song. The world at Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. And then Satan came. Another moon peeked out from the first one, scary and wan, hanging over the taiga forest. The horrific part got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked towards Olia. She smacked her lips in her sleep. That's weird, but okay. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olia's room. I'ma just shove that in there. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape at the exact moment my mom peeked into my room. Yeet. Hey, what's up? Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Oh, well, you know, there's plenty to mock, you know? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Oh, this is a choice? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. What is happening? Branches shook, as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into a slumber. But I woke up and Satan was in my bedroom. Oh! Oh, it's good. You guys, it's so good. That's so good. Oh, I had the heebies and the jeebies. No, that was so good. Oh my god, I'm gonna follow all of your stuff. Wow. 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 Who made this? Who made this? Sorry, hold on. Who made this? That was so good, you guys. Oh my god. I can't say enough praises for it right now. That was intense. There were some spooks. I actually yelled in fear a couple of times, which doesn't usually happen to me. But no, the art style phenomenal, and everything just worked. And there were so many things. I feel like I probably missed a lot of stuff. Like I think I got 3 achievements, but I think Steam lists 6 of them. So I don't know if that I missed 6 things or something, but there's so many small things that are there but not really like talked about that you can click on. And they're just it's so vivid. Everything is so descriptive and well put together. I whew, I cannot wait for episode 2. This was free to play, for the record, on Steam, and I obviously like this is like an hour and a half that I've been playing like nonstop, and it's so much fun. Like the storyline has me so intrigued about what's gonna happen next, and I'm looking forward to part 2. I don't know how many parts there's gonna be. I mean, like there's obviously other things I could have done. Like I could have taken the mitten and I could have just like snuck out the front door anyway instead of going in the kitchen and talking to my mom. Like there are other things, and it makes me wonder, like, clicking on these other things like the cross and like the little toy on the stairs. I wonder how much that actually played into like what came of what happened to me, like, or if they were just like little bits of story, which was good. I liked those things because it's piecing together, like clicking on all that stuff and finding all that like backstory is piecing together things like, oh, this was grandma's house, grandma taught him this weird little like protection spell rhyme thing or whatever, and when they got the house, the mom wanted to remove it and the dad said no, so it makes me think that like the grandma was like the dad's side, and the dad's like protective all of a sudden, and like putting locks on doors, so like he knows like there's something in these woods. So it's like a family thing, and they just haven't told these kids. Like, they're clearly, the adults know something, and there's so much story driven parts of this that are so good. It was so good. I would literally just right now, like, I would restart if my butt was not asleep. I would restart this right now and play through and pick the other options. There were, and I feel like obviously like I missed some stuff. Like, there's some things that I didn't like notice, probably. Like, there's some things that I could have paid attention to better, I guess. But for what I did, um obviously I don't know what would have changed if I'd picked other options, but they felt real. Like, this whole scenario felt real. Um like this kid's and a lot of it is like what's part of their imagination, what's actually happening, because there is that like realism stuff, like mom looked out the window and, oh, like she starts saying like look out this window, and so he starts panicking again. And then there's that whole thing about like the medication, and I don't understand if that's like necessary even, or if that's just like the mom's defense of like, here, go to sleep, be gone. Like, it was really good, and it's really well told. Like, I cannot state that enough, how well the story came across. And I'm definitely gonna support the developers on part 2. I cannot wait for that. So check it out for yourself. This is free to play. Let me know in the comments below if you get other achievements if you click other stuff. Like, let me know what happens if you pick the mitten instead of running away or whatever. Because I feel like maybe another playthrough would get me the other 3 achievements, I think. Whatever it is. But let me know your choices in the comments below. So, remember, be good to each other, do something amazing, and I will see you freaks later.